It's in the food and in the air. It's in the music. It's everywhere. It's that funky soul that moves you in a spirit that'll groove you. Something you can only find in the city that's truly one of a kind. I'm talking about New Orleans, baby. Go get some. I'm Tony Baglio, and this is and these are New Orleans Grooves. Music from the Bayou to the Big Easy and beyond on 90.5 WICN. I'm Tony Baglio, so happy to have you with me here on a Saturday night on New Orleans Grooves. And in this hour, we will be talking with the great soul singer from New Orleans, who's now based in London. But you can't take New Orleans out of the musician. And she'll be talking about that later as we share some words and music with Acantha Lang on New Orleans Grooves. As coming up this hour, I'll be talking with Acantha Lang. She's a soul singer from New Orleans who's making it big in London and across Europe, but hopefully will be kicking it right here in the States sometime soon. Saw her for the first time on CBS Saturday morning, and she and her band just blew me away. And when you hear her music, I think you'll feel the same way. We'll be talking about and hearing some music from her new debut album, Beautiful Dreams. So stay tuned, because that's coming up right after the break, right here on New Orleans Grooves.
What's up, everybody? This is Acantha Lang, and you're listening to my music on New Orleans Grooves with Tony Baglio on 90.5 WICN.
That's the title cut from Acantha Lang's debut album, Beautiful Dreams. She's New Orleans born and raised, making her musical mark in London and across Europe. And tonight, Acantha Lang is sharing words and music with me and you right here on New Orleans Grooves. You know, I'm embarrassed to say that the first time I heard your music was on the CBS Saturday morning show. You and your band blew me away, but I soon discovered that you've been on the scene for a long time. Could you tell us a little bit about your musical journey from New Orleans to London?
So I didn't really get my start until I left New Orleans, believe it or not. I left New Orleans, moved to New York, and that's kind of where everything kind of started making sense for me. It took a while for me to kind of land in and really understand that music was going to be my kind of thing, career choice. And that all happened when I ended up in Harlem, and I started a blues show in Harlem and started singing the blues, singing the music of my hometown. And that's when it all kind of came together. And then I had a period of time when I was singing at a cabaret Moulin Rouge kind of show in New York. And that's how I got to London, because they opened up one of those clubs here. They offered me a job singing and hosting this club. And that's how I got to London.
London, as well as Europe in general, has always been appreciative of American music, especially the music of New Orleans, which is one reason why musicians from all over the world go to New Orleans to be inspired. And New Orleans musicians travel the world, sharing that great gumbo of grooves that is New Orleans music. Do you consider yourself a New Orleans musician on a mission?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I am, it doesn't matter if you leave New Orleans is always with you. It's just one of those places where I always say, even people say, oh, you sound like, you're picking up the English, British accent and all that. I might be picking up the British accent, but I'm a New Orleans girl, 100%, so, and all the musical inspirations from, where I grew up, and I'm a Southern soul singer, and so I bring that with me, no matter where I am. I could be living in Timbuktu, I'm still gonna be a New Orleans soul singer, blues singer to the bone. That's what I always say. And yeah, people absolutely love, first of all, here in England, American music, American television, anything like that, they love it over here. But American blues and soul music from New Orleans, they go crazy. And so I realized that's why I stayed over here after my stint at the nightclub that I was working with here. I quit that and really started focusing on being an artist here in London. That's where the artist thing came, and the music that you hear today, that all started in London, believe it or not.
Wow. Well, I mean, you're certainly getting the well-deserved recognition over there in the UK. I'm hoping that it's starting to also spill over here in the States, and I'm wondering if you have any plans at all to do some touring in the U.S.
I do, because I'm fully independent, my journey has been a little bit different. I have to approach things a little bit different because I don't have those big marketing machines behind me, the big companies with, like these massive marketing budgets and booking agents and stuff. So my thing is like very organic and grassroots, and it takes a little bit longer. But I think that I'm really setting up a real foundation of people who really love soul music, who love soul music on vinyl, not just kind of like that fly by night, kind of quick in the pan, very manufactured production and, just all about the bottom line. That is not where I'm coming from. And it takes a little bit longer. So I'm trying to put together some dates in the US and trying to, build my fan base over there. So hopefully a tour in 2024 is in the works.
That would be so awesome. But I don't think you'll have any trouble building a fan base here in the States, because I believe there's a huge audience out there for real music being made by real musicians playing real instruments. These days especially, there's a big difference between the business of making music and the music business. Overproduction, quick profits, auto-tune, all of these other mechanical influences that dictate what the music should sound like. As a listener and as a musician, I'm just not into it. And I'm sure there's lots of other people who feel the same way.
That's right. And I think that, when I started making this record, I felt like there was a big need for bringing back like how they used to record back in the Stax days and, muscle shows when real musicians, you had talented musicians playing the music, and not piecing it together and auto-tuning every, but it came from like we all were in the same room and the rhythm section all played that stuff together. You know what I mean? I went in the booth and I sang my songs from beginning to end, and that's the take. You know what I mean? And we did little bits here and there, but we got whole records, recorded by musicians and I sang those songs, and there was no producer, trying to make it sound like this or that, like trying to add all this production tricks. We really wanted to tell the story. We really want the music to be the bed for that, the lyrics and the melody. And that's it. Everything came from a natural place. And I think performing it live and being able to do that live without any backing tracks on stage, without any extra fillers, like I really love Tedeschi Trucks and how they approach music. You go to their show and it's just class act musicians playing that music for real and just talent. You know what I mean? Strictly talent, no lights or pyrotechnics going on, no distractions. Like you go there to listen to some music and you go there to listen to those musicians and they're excellent. And same thing with Bill Withers. When you watch his shows, he's sitting there singing his heart out, with some of the best musicians behind him, sweat dripping down his eyes, he got a t-shirt on. That's it. Just Bill. You know what I mean? So I absorbed all of that and I said, you know what? There's a need for this kind of music to come back. And when I was on CBS, you should have seen all the messages. People are hungry for it. They're like, finally, soul music is back. Finally, a band playing music. Finally, you took me back to the 60s and 70s when I was in a backyard barbecue at my uncle's house down south in Alabama. That's the kind of messages I'm getting. And so I think, the record companies, and all of the big, they're like bombarding everybody with all this pop music. And it's like, there's a whole generation, there's a whole group of people who are like, what about them? People that really want like music like back in the day. So I was like, I'm gonna make that music. I'm gonna make that music and I'm gonna stay in my lane. And I think it can really, it's cutting through, it's cutting through.
Yes, it is. And here's one reason why. From the album Beautiful Dreams, here's Acantha Lang and Whatever Happened to Our Love. We're back sharing more words and music with soul singer extraordinaire, Acantha Lang. Like I said, the first time I heard your music and saw you perform was on the CBS Saturday morning show. You and the band were hitting it on all cylinders. The groove was so tight.
So this is the thing, Tony. So, I'm based in England, London. So when I got the CBS spot, I couldn't, my real band is here in England, but I couldn't the guys who you hear on the records it was all recorded here in London. They're all British players. I couldn't bring the band over there because it was too expensive in visas and stuff. So those guys on stage, they have one rehearsal.
What?
And one rehearsal. And two of them are old time friends. They used to play in my old band in Harlem. So I got them back. The drummer and the guitarist are old friends of mine. And I wanted them to share in that moment with me because they were with me when I was cutting my teeth in Harlem singing the blues. The other guys are, friends of friends. And so, cause I needed somebody, I needed a good band for that, for one rehearsal. I was like, who's the guys? And so the trumpet player actually plays for Corey Wong. He does. And then the sax player, apparently he played for, Corey Henry and, some really big players. I forgot who else, but, so those guys are amazing, but they're not even like my regular band, and they smashed it. They killed it. Yeah.
Well, those cats were jamming. They smashed it.
Or do you follow me on like Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do a little story about how that all came together. I have film and lesson rehearsal, and yeah, it was really intense. Yeah.
Your album, Beautiful Dreams, it's beautiful, it's soulful, it's funky, and lyrically it sounds so personal. Did you write or co-write all of the tunes on the album?
I feel the words are very powerful. I aspire to be a great lyricist. The great soul legends and the people that I admire, they all had this ability to tell a story and sing it with such passion and intent. And I wanted to do that. So I wrote all of the songs. Some of them were co-writes with people. But most of the lyrics are my own, especially my mom's song. Nobody could have written that song with me. I just sat there and I said, you know what? Let me just get all the bits together and then, try to get to the core of the essence of who she is, which was, she's a human being, a complicated situation. I'm her daughter, and pay tribute to her, So yeah, Lois Lane came out of that. And people, I couldn't believe it. Like when I'm doing these I do like little support tours around the UK. And after every show, that song is the standout. People are like, you had me in tears. Your mom's song is the best song of the night. And I couldn't believe it. My mom's song is the winner.
And here is Acantha's tribute to her mom. From the album, Beautiful Dreams, this is Lois Lane. Lois Lane from Beautiful Dreams. So if someone wants to get to know more about Acantha Lang and her music, how would they best go about that?
I'm fully independent. So, spreading the word about my debut album, Beautiful Dreams, if you want to keep up in what I'm doing, I'm on all the social media platforms at Acantha Lang. And the best way to get like updates on new music and my tour dates is to sign up to my mailing list, which is on acanthalang.com. There's a little form. And, and I even have like a soul series on YouTube where I cover soul legends from Al Green to Nina Simone. It's called Standing on the Shoulders of Soul Legends.
I love that series. It shows such respect to, the artists who have made a difference in your life and in many of our lives. And I was going to ask you, is there one in particular that you feel had the most impact on the way you approach music?
There's this one song that just always there's a loads of them on that series that I love, but Neither One of Us by Gladys Knight is such a powerful tune. Her vocal cuts through me. The way she sings that song and the lyrics, and it's just kind of like a masterpiece in emotion meets tone meets legend. So when I covered that, I got a really big reaction from that, and that's one of my favorite ones, Neither One of Us.
And here is Acantha Lang with Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye.
Sad to think we're not gonna make it, and it's gotten to the point where we just can't fake it. Ooh, for someone got they die. No, no, because neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. That's Acantha Lang from her Standing on the Shoulders of Soul Legends series. It's a video series, and it's just a guitar and vocals, and actually that's what it's all about. That's where the song is. That was Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye. Acantha Lang, thank you so much for taking the time to share some words and music with us tonight, and I'm sure that we will be hearing more from you and hopefully getting to see you live and in person one of these days right here, maybe at Jimmy's Jazz and Blues Club up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Would be a great venue for you.
It's on my radar now, and I have a feeling I'll be there, and we're going to meet.
That would be awesome. Thanks again, Acantha. Take care.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for having me.
Truly, someone who knows all about that New Orleans groove, that soul singer Acantha Lang, our guest tonight, sharing words and music right here in New Orleans Grooves. But we can't let this go without having one more from the album Beautiful Dreams. This is Acantha Lang with Sugar Woman. But come on back, because there are more sweet sounds right after the break here on New Orleans Grooves.
Sugar woman has lost her sweetness.